Alright, welcome back to Cage Volume. This tutorial we're covering how to draw with pen ink. Basically, you could draw with pencil, and work that way, or you could work with pen ink. So I'm drawing the screwdriver here, and you could draw directly, or you could draw, after you draw out some lines in pencil very lightly. Nice thing about drawing with the pen right away is you definitely cannot erase, so it forces you to really think about, what it is you're drawing here. So basically I'm using some Sharpies here. You could use the dip inks, you could use any number of inks that are out there in the industry. There's some that are very archival. Sharpies are not necessarily the best archival inks, but they work in a pinch and they're readily available. So the issue is, of course, if you make a mistake, you have to go back over and kind of correct it with heavier lines. So I try and have a lighter touch. I'm using this sort of yellowish paper, so it just looks a little cooler with the ink, but it is one of those things. It's, it's the process. You're just going to see it, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just kind of drawing through. One note, if you do have allergies to smells, avoid Sharpies. I actually had a student many years ago who would actually pass out from the smell of Sharpies. So it's just some little thing to be wary of if you're one of those people who are very sensitive to smells. So basically I'm just drawing the little lines here. Again, trying to keep that continuous lines. And anytime I need to change things, like I'm like at the edge here, I kind of need this to come out a little bit further. Just kind of draw it out a little bit further on there. And then the connecting part here, I'm going to let it go all around like so. And right now I'm using a smaller Sharpie, the thinner one, but you could use the thicker Sharpie. Lay down some heavier lines, especially areas that you kind of want to define more. So maybe I want to really clarify this line here as it comes in and connects to this section here with this sort of rounded point. Maybe I want to redraw some of this part here that's getting a little bit lost, so I can come in here and kind of re-emphasize certain areas. Or I can make a bigger, bolder line. I can also add nice shadows with the Sharpie. In terms of shading, I recommend using the thinner ones for shading. And basically, you can do any kind of number of cross-hatching techniques. Again, going at a diagonal mark will give you better results. It'll feel like it's creating form rather than drawing straight lines up or down or sideways. So some artists get really good at this with the cross-hatching. You can kind of go in and a slightly different angle and get that effect to happen. Sometimes I have to turn the paper, so for me, quite often I like to change different direction to make it better for my hand. So allow yourself to do that. For me, this direction is much easier than what I was doing before. So I would just change it in the neck there. Any of these lines that need to connect, like you can see these loops are not connecting on the inside, so I can start to do that. Maybe I show some of the interior of the plastic. Since this is translucent plastic, you can actually see inside some of that metal, the way it's sealed in there. I can describe some of that in there and get more of that form to come into play. Okay, so and then again, more diagonal lines to create the shadows. So that's pretty much that way of working. It's not really any tricks to it except, following the form of the shadows. If I wanted a nice cast shadow, I could use the black Sharpie here. It'll give it a more graphic quality, so it'll be more of a straight black. But I could have blended this out with a smaller line. But sometimes it's nice to have a little pop in these drawings, so I can have a little cast out here that's really nice and dark. Gives a little snap to it. So this is it for the cage volume of tools. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, cheers.